Hey there, y'all, YouTube and crazy people. This is Jared with Omnivore Blade Works, and here you see about all the different variations of the Jackal tomahawk that I've made in the past. And I wanted to make this video because this particular pattern is going to be no more. I'm moving on and changing making some big changes to the concept of the Jackal, the Aureus Jackal, and I'm going to be kind of going back to the drawing board and having something entirely new for that category of tomahawk, which is heavy hitting close quarters tomahawk for close quarters battle, not close quarters bushcraft. That's ridiculous, but whatever. Anyway, the first one that pretty much got out there was this format with a square sheath, and I made this cool rotating beard spacer lock so that you can lock the tomahawk in place, and has a spacer for the spike, so you put the spike in, cam it up in place, and then you can lock the rotating micarta lock. And then it unlocks basically itself when you pull the pin up. It was a little too complicated, and so I only made just this one to test the concept, and it's a little rattly and it's not quite as secure as some other things. The next sheath lock was just to put a pin in the space to keep the thing from coming out. And basically what we're doing is we're indexing off the spike and then this lock pin so we can't rotate forward. Pull the pin out and there it comes. This is a one of a kind that somebody sent back to me, which had been hydro dipped in sort of a zombie green and black, I think, and it got sent back to me, and I don't know who it belongs to. So if this is yours and you've been waiting for it for probably 5 years, it's been here this whole time, and I don't know who you are, but you need to claim it. Anyway, it didn't have any handles on it. I'm not sure why, but there it is. Now, the next thing that I did was to make a hatchet out of the tomahawk. So there's basically the same exact blank with a spike chopped off and no underhook edge. So you can grab it up here, not cut yourself, and do some whittling. This one is nickel plated, and it's basically ready to go. This is actually available. Only thing I got to finish is to make the locking latch for the back, which it's really simple how it works. You cam the beard in, and this temporary lock is on the hole in the head, and then the more permanent latch has a pivot point here and a lock pin hole here, and a little pin for a hole for a piece of bungee cord to wrap around a rotating micarta spacer. So you basically just pull the bottom of this, pull the bottom on the spacer, and it pushes the top of the tomahawk out while releasing the bottom. And then when you put it back in, it basically self-locks when you just cam it right in. So it's pretty cool. Now, another thing I've done is to do a variation on the Jackal with a full handle, which makes it more of a spastic person's CQB tomahawk, or just a more effective and user-friendly tomahawk. Still have all the cutting power, you just have handle material up here and no underhook edges, which doesn't really detract much from the actual function of this thing. Underhook edges are actually kind of dangerous in some ways, although they do have some functions as well. So I have two just like this, on which the possum tracks are down on the handle because there's just no place to put it on the blade anymore when you change the handle format. And they have a sheath which is made for a 1.5 inch belt. You could very easily just throw this in your backpack, and it indexes off of the spacers up in here, cams in, and it's just got a fairly reasonable friction lock. You could definitely add some safety by putting a clamp around here, and it would be safe. The last one that I have available is this one, Same song, but with a front spike. Now you can see from the grind geometry that this is all sharp up underneath the spike, get ground down to 0, and I think that's a 40-degree pitch, so it's like a 0 ground 40-degree bevel there. And the top on this one is actually kind of sharpened also, and then this under spike is not rounded over, but it's blunted. Now I have 2 of these blanks that are not ground yet, they're just machined, and they're 3V. See that label right there, 3V. One of these is supposed to go to Oliver, and I don't know if he wants both of them. I give him first dibs, but if and when I get these finished, I'd like to know who wants them as soon as possible, because they will ship with a trainer, which is 1095 heat treated trainer with all the edges rounded off, and it's heavy as a brick, so you can swing this around and build up some of your forms and whatnot, and not bust yourself in the head and with a sharp edge. Now this is a different animal. This is called the Mesomus, and it's a whole different type of tama thingy. You can see it has a big knife edge up under the beard zone, and it shares some of the geometry in the hilt with my Americanus Bowie knife. This is just the prototype, and I made quite a few of these out of this unknowingly low carbon steel. So I turned most of them into throwers that are just for fun, and I chopped this lower handle portion off so that you could actually throw it, and they're kind of silly, but they're kind of fun too. Anyway, they're all ground, and I'm using them to kind of test Cerakote and KG coatings and see how well everything holds up. But the concept here is that you've got a long range, powerful cutting weapon and tool if you use this grip, and then you have a fast, multi-faceted impact cutting weapon if you hold it in this grip. Of course, the utilitarian function of having a knife so that you can actually whittle with it is actually kind of nice. And it may be that just doing some kind of a kukri with no spike, or like a hammer pole in this similar type of blade shape, would be a practical bushcrafting tool. And I'd like to visit that possibility in the future. If you like this or have any suggestions for what I could do with it to make it better, I'd love to hear them. I'd also love to hear your ideas about how to redesign from scratch the Arius Jackal, which is, I hope, will be about a 3/8 or maybe 5/16 inch thick tomahawk, which I'll be trying to make almost entirely on the CNC mill. Think of a axe that you really like, and think of a tomahawk that you really like, and let's kind of blend them together and make something that really does the heavy hitting jobs at close range really well. This lock actually self-locks, which is kind of fun. It has a strut so you can unlock it like that, and then you just pull it right out. I'm kind of happy with some of these sheath designs. Anyway, thanks for watching, and let me know if you have input, and I'd be glad to hear from you. If you want any of these that I said were available, let me know, and we'll try to get them out to you ASAP. These 2 are ready to ship, and I got one more like that, and then the nickel plated hatchet is also ready to go. Alright, see you next time.